In this video, we will be looking at how to print off a class grid for mark recording purposes or attendance purposes. So in order to print off a class grid, you're going to go to the Teacher Tools navbar icon group right here. If you don't have that icon group, or if you don't have the print class grid icon, you can click on these three dots in your navbar, go to Add Link, edit this navbar, then go to Add Link, and then search for Print Class Grid and add the icon to your navbar. Once you do that, you simply have to click on that icon and it'll open the tool. So again, this can be used for lots of purposes. The first one I'm going to show you is just for recording marks. So notice there are quite a few options here. So how would you like the grid organized by? Would you like the whole class? And if you would, we can just click Generate Grid, and it's going to give us a nice grid for the whole class. Now, if you have multiple sections because you have a split class, you can actually also organize it by sections. And you could select which section you want to include. This class has two sections, so I'm going to include both of them. If I generate the grid, it gives me a nice separated class grid with section 1 and section 2. We can also do the same for groups. And since there are two groups here, we can organize it by those two groups. Or we could do groups and sections. So if we wanted to organize by sections and groups, right, we could have section 1, both groups, and section 2, both groups. So you can organize it depending on how your class is or how you want it to look. This is how you can organize it. So this way you only have to print off one sheet for both of your sections or all your groups. Now, if I go back to whole class for a second, notice there are some options over here. I'll get to this one in a second. First of all, you can add number of columns. Right now we have 10, but if we wanted like 15 columns instead, now there are 15 columns. If I wanted a couple extra rows at the top for dates and out of and things like that, or learning goals, and maybe another one at the bottom, I can add blank rows at the top and bottom. But the cool thing is now you can click on this attendance sheet, click on your month and generate it, and it'll actually do all the date headers for you for the weekdays, just like Markbook would do. So no matter what month you pick, it will automatically generate it. So you can print this off and just use this for attendance purposes as well. Okay, so then in order to print our grid, we would just click on the print grid and go ahead and print it like we would anything else. So that is how you use the print class grid tool.